talked before on this show about what happens when the government refuses to help the people. What happens when the government is not doing their just due? And obviously, we can look at Gaza and we can see what's happening there. And it's very, very obvious that the US government is complicit in this. They want this to happen. Just the other day, there was another vote in the UN Security Council, and the United States decided to once again be the lone hand raiser to not have a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, I know it's easy to look at that and to get upset and frustrated, but there is some hope. And I think at this point in time, this is when you really have to look to the activists. And one activist in particular, Greta Thunberg, who's a climate activist, who's also sees what's happening in Gaza and says this is a humanitarian issue. She has decided to sail on the flotilla, which is a Gaza aid ship. This is one of those boats where people are volunteering their time and they're trying to get aid to people in Gaza, where Israel is not allowing that to happen, or they're letting a truck come in, and as soon as people go towards the truck, they're shooting the people. This is not something that Greta has to do. If Greta wanted to, she could just continue her climate activism. Honestly, like, she received a lot of, I think, press for her speeches with climate coverage and all those things. If she wanted to, she could have just rode on that and just faded into the sunset and made a lot of money. She doesn't have to do this. So the fact that she decided to volunteer to get out there and to get food and aid and supplies to people in Gaza, I think that speaks volumes. And we're going to go ahead and show you this clip here. Very, very proud of her.
In southern Italy, a ship has set sail for Gaza with several activists on board, including Greta Thunberg. The vessel, operated by an international nonprofit organization, is attempting to bring aid and awareness to the growing humanitarian crisis. This is the organization's second attempt to reach Gaza. Another vessel was hit by 2 drones in early May.
A month after our latest attempt to go on with this mission, the boat was bombed twice. All evidence suggests Israel. And we are doing this because we have to keep our promise to the Palestinians to do everything in our power to protest against the genocide and to try to open up a humanitarian corridor. And we are doing this because no matter what odds we are against, we have to keep trying. Because the moment we stop trying is when we lose our humanity. And no matter how dangerous this mission is, it is nowhere near as dangerous as the silence of the entire world in the face of a live-stream genocide.
Very nervous about what the IDF and the Tel Aviv regime will do when they arrive. This boat contains equipment that the Israelis will not allow into Gaza: crutches, baby formula, painkillers, antibiotics. We don't want any harm to come to these people. This is a humanitarian mission, doing what the rest of the world should be doing, including the EU, the European community where I'm from. And we are trying to break the seeds that under international law the EU should be doing, and they're not. They're shirking their responsibilities, and their time will come.
We are counting on you to use your voice, your platform, everything you have at hand to protect humanity, to protect human rights, and to stand on the right side of history. Thank you.
I just want to say something about what this gentleman just said there. He said, we're doing what the EU should be doing and what the rest of the world should be doing. He's 100% correct. And this brings up this point of mutual aid. Because when you think about it, the flotilla, people volunteering their time to get aid into Gaza, that's mutual aid. This is a form of mutual aid, them choosing to gather and help people where the governments have failed. That's where it comes from. If you think back to the Black Panthers, they didn't start mutual aid just for shits and giggles. They did so because the government had failed. The government failed their communities, and they said, we're going to take care of our people. We're going to distribute food. We're going to give out free breakfast for kids to make sure that they can have a decent meal before they go to school. We're going to help the people. This is what this is, guys. And so, you know, those of us at RBN, we're very passionate about mutual aid. We do mutual aid. And I want you to take that into consideration. This is probably one of the grandest gestures of mutual aid that you can see during this point in time. And you'll see the flotilla here. Shout out to Craig Monkheiber. The Freedom Flotilla's humanitarian ship, Madeline, has alerted the public that it is now being tracked by drones. I'll show you that clip in just a second. This is very dangerous, as the Israeli regime is infamous for using drones to attack civilians, and it has twice attacked the Freedom Flotilla ships, murdering 10 passengers in the first attack. All states must act to protect the ship and its passengers from the regime's violence to ensure its safe passage to Gaza. So again, this is the ship, ladies and gentlemen, that's trying to bring the aid in. And so this is what Greta and the other volunteers are doing. This is very dangerous. This isn't something that let's just get on this boat and nothing's going to happen. No, they're really risking their lives to do this, because Israel is known to attack other boats that have tried to do this, that have tried to find a way to get that aid in. She was actually in an interview recently on Al Jazeera on the boat talking about this. Again, young person who is willing to volunteer their time. And honestly, this is risking your life, risking your life. And they have already alerted people. They sent out a warning that they saw drones. We'll show you that video in just a second.
But why did you feel it was vital for you not only to support the Madeleine, but to be on board it?
It's just if you have any sense of humanity left, then there is no option but to stand with Palestine and to do everything you can. And for some reason, I have a platform that I can use. And if my presence on this boat can contribute in any way to showing solidarity with Palestinians, then I will do that.
Are you hopeful that the presence of prominent figures like yourself, like the Irish actor Liam Cunningham, this time on this boat, might help increase the Madeleine's chances of actually reaching Gaza?
That we don't know. But what we do know is that I and the others on board will continue doing everything we can, both in the short term and in the long term, to fight for justice and to demand an end to Israel's war crimes.
Given what happened to previous boats, do you in your heart feel you really will make it to Gaza? What are the chances, do you feel?
The uncertainties are very big, of course, and we have made many risk assessments trying to judge the situation, and we are preparing for different scenarios to respond in a non-violent way to maximize our safety. But we are aiming to sail to Gaza. That is what we do know at this point.
Just think about this for a moment. She knows they may not even make it there. And it's everybody should be talking about this moment. Everyone should be talking about this right now. Not the latest drama with the Kardashians. Everyone should be talking about the fact that these people are risking their lives to try to get this aid into Gaza, to try to help these people on this boat. It's not like they're on a yacht. They're on a sailboat. It's very brave. If I, you know, some of you have kids. If I had kids, like, this is who I would want my kids to look up to in action like this. Not the Kardashians. Something like this, like really trying to get out there to help the people where the governments have failed. And so what we learn is that when the governments fail the people, who usually will pick up that mantle? The activists. It's the activists that get up in the streets, that get out there to help the people when the government fails. But what it teaches us is that the government will fail you at some point in time. And so if you know that the government is going to fail you, because they are beholding to Wall Street. They're beholding to corporate interests. If you know that, what that means is that we are wasting time in between presidential elections to sit around and just wait for the next election and hope that this next person will be the great, savior. That we should be organizing within that period, after elections, during elections, regardless. We should always be organizing and working to fix some of these things on our own. Now, we can't fix everything. Some things do have to go through legislation. But what this shows you, again, when the government fails the people, it is usually the activists, the organizers who pick up the mantle and step in. A little bit more here.
What will it mean for the world if this boat is either attacked by drones, as the Conscience was, or raided by Israeli commandos, as the Mavi Marmara was?
Yeah, we have made it very clear from the beginning that we are 12 peaceful volunteers who are not carrying weapons. We are carrying humanitarian aid. We will not be responding in any violent way. We are sailing on international waters, which is our right to do. So again, if someone, IOF or allies with Israel, decides to attack us, then it is just another example of the disrespect of international law and human rights.
Because Israel thinks they own everything. Like, she's right. Those are international waters. Now I want to show you something. Since I said those are international waters, because they already spotted drones, right? So let me bring this up on the screen here. You'll see this map here. So they were already miles outside of Greenland. They're headed in this direction towards Gaza. I hope I pronounced Greenland right. But they were already miles outside of Greenland. Now, listen to this video so you can hear what they said they have already started to see.
Hello, everyone. We are reporting here from the Madrid. We are right now at 80 kilometers from Greek lands and 68 kilometers from Greek territorial waters. What happened is that we just spotted a drone, and we confirmed it is a drone, but we just lost visual with it. It could have either turned back or turned off the lights.
So they're telling people that they just spotted a drone. Okay, so they're just, again, a couple miles outside of Greenland.
We have our safety procedures here, and it demands us to go get all of our life jackets. We prepare to alert level at the maximum, especially if it's approaching us, and we sound the alarm for you. Now we count on all of you to share what's going on here and to please let the world know that we are 80 kilometers from Greece and we need your help.
So they're telling people that they need their help. Now, again, if we go back to this map, let me bring this up here. I can't really zoom in, right? So Greenland, this looks like a thing. I wish I could make this bigger, but I can't. Yeah, because that's just as big as it is. The drones, they said, were coming from here. So this is another thing. Israel isn't stupid. Israel's very smart, right? So they can have other countries send those drones. And good point here. Greece has huge arms deal with Israel. See, there you go. This is what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be. I thought so. Athens, Dutch map. Thank you, Random. So yeah, from Greece. So Israel's very intelligent. Like in this aspect, the drones don't have to come from Israel. They can come from other countries. And it appears like that's what's happening. Now, we have to make sure we follow this story because, like I said, like they're basically risking their lives to do this. None of them have to do this. None of them. But they know that this is necessary. And I say it's the craziest week ever because at the same time, this happened at the UN. So you'll see once again, the US has vetoed yet another UN Security Council resolution. It's always us. It's always the United States.
The U.S. opposition to this resolution should come as no surprise. It is unacceptable for what it does say. It is unacceptable for what it does not say. And it is unacceptable for the manner in which it has been advanced. The United States has been clear. We would not support any measure that fails to condemn Hamas and does not call for Hamas to disarm and leave Gaza. In recent months, Hamas has rejected numerous ceasefire proposals, including one over the weekend, that would provide a pathway to end this conflict and release the remaining 58 hostages. We cannot allow the Security Council to reward Hamas's intransigence. The U.S.
So the United States stands alone. If you look at the UN Security Council, once again, like I said, it is the US that continues to veto any ceasefire. Now, pay attention because the face of the vetoer has changed, but the vote is still the same. The party has changed, but the vote is still the same. Because on certain issues, it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican because they agree on certain issues. This is one of them. But when you see that happen, you got to see this, right? This is what we refer to it as. Craig is right. Another blood-soaked hand is raised. For the fifth time since the current wave of genocide in Palestine began, the U.S. has again vetoed a ceasefire in the UN Security Council. For those still claiming the U.S. is trying to negotiate a ceasefire, your lies are exposed for all the world to see. This is not a mediator. This is the gesture of a co-perpetrator of a genocide. So, everyone remember the Black woman, Linda Greenfield? She was the one who was raising her hand. So different party, different administration, different person, but the vote is the same. This is something that the United States government is going to have to grapple with at some point, I think, in years to come, because everybody can see we're the only country that is refusing to allow a ceasefire. Knowing that people are starving, knowing that I saw a video last night of a baby being pulled from under the rubble again. Knowing that people are starving, that people are dying, that women and children, knowing all these things. So if you're against the ceasefire, you are allowing that to continue. And the reason why they're allowing it to continue is because the U.S. government wants the Palestinian people gone just as much as Israel does. Now, they won't say it that way, but that's what they want. The government has failed. The government has failed the people. And when the government fails the people, this is when you look to the activists. This is when the activists rise up. Now, you ain't got to agree with Greta on everything, but she don't really have to do this. She really doesn't. None of those people on that boat have to do what they are doing. None of them. That's not a safe journey. It is a dangerous one. We don't know if they will make it or not. I sincerely hope that they do. But when the government fails, the people, it is the activists that you look to. It is usually the activists that stand up. We have seen this time and time through history again, over and over. Look throughout our history. When the government failed the people, the activists were the ones that stood up to help the people. So I applaud her for what she's doing. I know some people were like, oh, this is just a photo op. Looks like they're risking their life to me. So I hope that they sincerely make it there. They're able to get the aid there. But like I said, none of these people have to do this. And I think the more that we learn to depend on each other, the less disappointment that we have from our public officials. That's what I think. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.